Hello everyone, hope you're having a fine day. Today we'll be taking a look at My Hero Academia: The Strongest Hero. This is an action-based gacha with multiplayer, PvE, and PvP aspects, best described as a Honkai Impact reskin. Taking a look at gameplay, you control a single character with a dodge, a decent amount of skills, and an ultimate. A neat thing about the combat is being able to chain combos to juggle enemies in the air, and each character has some unique playstyles due to their quirks and abilities. You can also set it to auto to do all of the work for you. As far as game modes go, there's a lot to take in, and unfortunately it gets a bit confusing with the amount of menus to look at. Next to all of the game modes, the stamina is incredibly scarce. The rate at which it is recovered is incredibly slow, and most stages take about a fifth of your max stamina. Of course, rank ups within the game also do not recover any stamina, so there isn't really a new player experience when it comes to this game. Now before I start looking at the banners, I'm going to piss off some people again, and say the launch for this game has been atrocious. Countless errors of people not being able to get back into their accounts, account link issues, guest accounts being deleted with no way to back them up, adding an insane amount of servers that are all completely separate. There are about 30 servers at the moment, and each have their own separated player base. The only crossplay, I believe, is co-op PvE and your friends list, although there might be more that I haven't seen yet. With all these issues and more to count, you'd think there would at least be some compensation, but I've only heard of certain people actually receiving it. As of this video, I have not seen any compensation yet. Now, a gacha will always make or break a game, and this one might get a tad confusing. Starting with the character rates, the highest rarity is S, which is at 1.2%. You are guaranteed an S every 100 pulls and an A every 30. From what I've heard, these pities will carry over between banners like Genshin Impact, but this could always change for global servers. There are also cards to pull, which as always are your craft essences, your artifacts, your pullable gear. Highest rarity here is 6 stars at 3%, also with the ceiling set at 100 pulls, and at every 30 pulls, you will get a 5 star. The more confusing part is when we look at the tickets needed to pull, each costing 250 of the premium currency. But there are 5 different tickets at the moment used for different banners that we haven't seen in global just yet. Another controversial part is when it comes to character pulls, the majority of the pulls will contain character shards used to rank up the characters, not the actual characters themselves. This is mostly in part due to the fact that it is a very small summon pool. Among all rarities, there are 12 characters in the game at the moment. Looking at monetization, they have a top-up event that gives out a character and rewards, decently priced coin packs, and a bunch of bundles, most refreshing weekly. Along with all of this, you have top-up rewards, giving paying players some big upgradable rewards. Paying players also get more of the buff shop currency, and here you receive permanent account buffs like increased max stamina and maximum mode attempts like the Hero Trial. Hero Trials, you normally get 2 max attempts per day to get character shards, but buying a permanent buff will set this to 3 per day instead of the 2. Overall, I'm not too bothered by this big advantage whales will be getting, but the game is still relatively new. There are a lot of leaderboards and potentially leaderboards for in-game events. The biggest benefit whales will have over everyone else would be an easier time in PvE, a clear advantage in the auto mode PvP, which I've just dubbed the whale mode, and maybe some guild-related content. There's also a live PvP mode, but this has equalized stats. The only wall here is you can only use the characters that you own, but upgrades do not affect this mode whatsoever. Now there's a lot I've glazed over, but I think I went over most of what I wanted to. Overall, I think this is a fun game for a Honkai Impact competitor, but it comes with a plethora of issues being developed by Chinese devs. First are the insane amount of servers that will eventually get merged as player bases get too small in each of them individually. This is pretty standard practice to incentivize whales to compete in their own individual servers, but also severely splits the player base, which is a big bummer in my opinion. Instead of just expanding the limits of the existing servers, they just continue to add more and more around the launch cycle, starting off at around like 10-ish servers, and they ended up adding about 20 more with the mess of a launch that we had there. There were some neat launch events going on that give away free characters, but due to all the server issues at launch, a lot of people didn't have enough time to finish getting the rewards, especially since the Asui event specifically was only going on for 2 days. There's also a free Aizawa to get, but the requirements are fairly steep. There are almost 2 weeks to finish these at least though, so it's a little more acceptable. Next gripe that is pretty clear as soon as day 1 is how little stamina you have to actually play the game. There are a limited amount of stamina refreshes every day, and your progression and playtime is severely limited. Next to this is just the amount of menus to find different things. You have 4 options in the top left, 3 in the top right. Click this UA button at the bottom, and now you have 20 more buttons with sub-menus to navigate through. This is extremely unintuitive, and I still find myself having to hunt for specific things a few days in. There's some more minor gripes I have, but I can always save those for another day. Overall, the game, in my opinion, is fine, but the amount of these cons will definitely frustrate many players. The game doesn't do anything new or special, but it also isn't blatantly awful, so I'd say the game is worth a try at the very least, and then you can decide whether or not the game is for you. Now, I tried to keep this quick and concise, so I'm not going to go over all of the upgrade options, all of the different game modes. So if I helped you out or I made you mad, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. And if you made it this far, subscribe for more inconsistent content in the future. Take care and good luck.